Morning all, everybody. Fresh from the school run. Not so fresh after watching Djokovic in the early hours last night. But just wanted to kind of give my summary of the match, really. So Djokovic coming through against talented Portuguese player Jamie Faria in 4 sets. Very, very unusual match. So the first set, Djokovic started off really, really well, stayed on the baseline, but was able to really dictate rallies and was really moving Faria around all over the course and all over the court, and was hitting some really good ground strokes. And he took the first set 6-1. Towards the end of the set, I thought I saw some body language from him, which he didn't quite seem happy with something. I don't know what it was, and I thought it was a bit unusual because he was 6-1 up, but that kind of carried on at the start of the second set, even though he had a break of serve. So Djokovic went 6-1 and 2-1 up, so he'd won 8 of the first 10 games, playing really, really well. And then all of a sudden his level significantly dropped, and he almost seemed to be preoccupied with it, with his leg. So he was stretching out his leg. I think he looked a little bit agitated. He looked a little bit concerned, and I think maybe he thought that he'd pulled a groin strain or pulled an abdominal strain or something around the upper leg, and he seemed to completely go off the boil. And you know, we don't know what it was. He hasn't kind of told us what it was in the post-match conference, but there was definitely something. And in the meantime, Faria kind of just, I think, took some heart from that, because he really started then going for his shots, hitting some massive forehands, serving 130-mile-an-hour plus aces. He just kind of rolled the dice and went for it. And he then rolled off 3 games consecutively. He ends up breaking Djokovic and going 4-2 up. Djokovic at this point, again, he's looking a little bit tight, looking a bit edgy. But he kind of stays in that set. He pulls it back, he gets it to a tiebreaker, but couldn't quite muster enough energy or whatever it was to kind of win that set. And Faria takes that set to level up the match. At this stage, you know, a lot of the usual suspects, the drama people on Twitter were saying Djokovic is finished, he's done. But Djokovic, you know, he's been in this game long enough, and he knows that when he has niggles or injuries, he knows that he can get through them and get through matches. And I think he must have he took some pills, as the commentator said. I would imagine they were probably painkillers and anti-inflammatories, and it seemed to settle down. So, you know, anyone who's played a sport, when you're playing a sport and you think you've picked up a niggle or an injury, it's always playing on the back of your mind, whether it's a serious injury, whether it's going to impact the rest of the match or the tournament, or whether it's just a niggle that you can run off. And I think in this instance, it was something that Djokovic thought, oh, this doesn't feel good. But once he'd had the kind of the anti-inflammatory, the painkillers, the pain went, and he was then obviously moving better. He seemed a lot more confident. So he then took a tightish third set, 6-3. And then in the fourth set, he was back to kind of where he was in the first set. You know, he was hitting it really well, timing it well. His power was back on his serves. His body language was much more engaged, much more happy. He closed out the win in 4 sets, so he's through to the last 32. I'm very, very pleased. You know, I gave him a 7.5 out of 10 in his first match against Basavaredi. I'll probably give him a 7 out of 10 just because of that dip in the second set, which, you know, it probably only lasted 15 or 20 minutes, but it was quite a sharp kind of dip where he just looked like he'd lost his intensity and focus. But, you know, at no stage in that match was I worried that he was actually going to lose the match, providing it wasn't a serious injury, and it doesn't appear to be so. So look, I'm absolutely delighted. You know, a lot of people on my timeline on X are saying, oh, he's going to lose against Machak. He plays Thomas Machak next, seeded player, very, very good player. You know, if he's struggling to beat, you know, kind of these young players, then how is he going to do against more experienced, talented players? And I don't buy that. You know, Djokovic has told us so many times, especially in recent years, that he looks to peak in slams in the business week, in the second week, you know, the 4th round onwards, quarterfinal, semis, and he tries to lift his level up every single round that he plays. Now, it is quite important for Djokovic to get those hours under the belt. You know, after the Olympics and an early exit from the US Open, he then curtailed his season competitively. So he didn't play for about 5 months. He had a couple of games in Brisbane. That was his first kind of match. But he needs these matches. So the fact that he's gone 4 sets in 2 matches is not necessarily a bad thing. He needs these matches to get that experience back, to get that match practice back, and you only really get that when you kind of have that intensity of a slam. And he's had 2 matches now, so I think he's doing absolutely fine. You know, I was looking at the Tennis Channel commentary today, and apparently Alcaraz was in when it was 1-set-all, and he said Djokovic is going to win the next 2 comfortably. He said 6-2 and 6-2. Yeah, it was actually 6-3 and 6-2. So, you know, other pros know as well that, you know, Djokovic tends to find his best tennis towards the end of matches, and he certainly did today. So, yeah, so I'm perfectly content. You know, he's gone into the Grand Slam, his first kind of slam since the US Open, where he didn't particularly perform well. He's won his first 2 matches against 2 really talented youngsters. And these youngsters, you know, they've got nothing to lose. No one expects them to win. You know, they're higher ranked. They're not kind of playing for ranking points or anything, or protecting points from previous years. And they rolled the dice on both occasions. It's not an easy to play against. They have no pressure. And they enjoyed it. And Djokovic has come through that. Both of the players, he's almost double their age that he's played, and that, you know, you have to take that into account as well. But yeah, really pleased. Djokovic is now through, as I said, against Thomas Machak. He can now put his feet up and relax. You know, he's obviously created another record today with the most Grand Slam matches played ever. So he's broken another racket. He's put a record. He hasn't broken a racket yet, thank goodness. But I don't have an issue with anyone breaking rackets if it helps them. So yeah, so happy, contented, looking forward to the next round. I think Thomas Machak is going to be a step up, no doubt about that, but I think Djokovic is going to step up as well, and I think he will win again, possibly in 4 sets. You know, it might take him a while to get into that match, but I think the benefit that he has with Thomas Machak, which is important, is that he's played him before. He's never played Basavaredi, or he's never played Jamie Faria before, and that always is always a struggle. You don't really know their strengths and weaknesses. You don't really know what they're capable of. So, you know, you'll know a lot more about Thomas Machak. So that is going to be helpful. You know, he's had a night match now, he's had a day match, so he's had experience of both conditions. He's had a match under the roof as well, because they had to go under the roof with a bit of rain later on. So, you know, this is brilliant. Absolutely everything that we asked for. You know, he is going to be there or thereabouts, I believe, in terms of winning the Australian Open. I think it's going to come down to his match against Alcaraz. I do firmly believe that if it is Djokovic Alcaraz in that quarterfinal, the winner of that match will go on and win the title. I'm quite confident in that. So, but yeah, we've still got a long way to go to get there yet. You know, he's got to win 2 more matches to get there, and Alcaraz does as well. And you don't know with tennis, you know, what can happen on any given day. So we don't know if Alcaraz will get there as well. But yeah, looking forward to it. Not had much sleep. My body clock is completely zonked out. And you know, I didn't really know how to plan a 3 a.m. match. Do you go to sleep early and wake up, or do you go to sleep late and hope it finishes at 5 and get a few hours? But it is what it is. It's the Australian Open, and these are the sacrifices we do as tennis nuts and tennis addicts. So there you go. But yeah, checking out for now. Hope you guys are all well, and don't get too stressed. There's all these people on my timeline who are getting so worried. He won the match. He won the match in 4 sets. He lost one on the tiebreaker. He's through to the next round. He looks happy. Touch wood, he's healthy as well. He's not going to give anything away. If he did pick up a niggle, he wouldn't want to give that away to his opponent. So let's hope the medical team, he's got a fantastic team out there with him, can kind of strap him up and do what they need to do to get him ready for the next match. But he's got a couple of days break now. So I think he's going to have much needed rest and recovery in that period, and he'll come out fresh for the Thomas Matchak game, and we'll see what he does. Okay, have a great day, everybody. Peace out. Look after yourselves. Take care, and I'll be back with another video soon. Take care. Bye.